Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Professor Roger Chen from University of San Francisco. Welcome, CT. Thank you for joining our interview program. So why don't you briefly introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me, Roger. My name is CheeTung, or CT, and I'm co-founder of EngageRocket. We've been running this company now for just over 6 years, and we build smart engagement tools for busy leaders. So it's AI-powered performance management and employee engagement analytics. We help companies like Toyota, Louis Vuitton, and other companies to build a workplace that encourages their people to want to give their best at work. So we serve mid-market companies globally across more than 20 industries and have analyzed over 10 million employee data points.
Discussion topic: lessons for competing and winning in Southeast Asia.
The next question is because your company, is based in Southeast Asia and doing quite well, expanding in different markets there. So maybe you can share, first, what are the unique characteristics of this region, which you are doing very well? The second question is, what's your kind of advice to other entrepreneurs, a company who want to establish and grow, be successful in that market? So these are the two questions. Would you please help us?
Yeah, sure. We're based in Singapore currently, which is in Southeast Asia. And Southeast Asia is a loose association of 10 different countries, actually. And so you have your main, the 5 largest economies: Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. But you have your Cambodia, Laos, and others as well. So one unique thing about this region is that it is extremely culturally and linguistically diverse. So if we look at just these 10 countries, there are more than 1,200 languages spoken in these 10 countries. Just in Indonesia alone, there are 13,000 islands with over 900 that are inhabited. And we do business in Indonesia, and it's really, really, really very, very difficult. It's hard to imagine sometimes, but we can't treat Indonesia as a single market. There's the East Javanese market, but then there's the Jakarta market. So Jakarta also has the Greater Jakarta, which is they call it Jabodetabek. It's 5 different regions within the Jakarta region, and they have a very different buying behavior and culture from it's people in Sumatra, for example, in another part of Indonesia. So part of doing business in this region is being able to embrace this extreme ethnic and linguistic diversity, and to accept that the buying behavior is going to be very different from market to market to market. Obviously, in Singapore, it's probably the closest to the Western economies, where you generally find more transparent procurement processes. There's the rule of law and everything else quite strict, but at the same time also a lot less. It's a lot friendlier to employers. So there are certain things like this that you just have to kind of understand and navigate. For entrepreneurs trying to build a business here, my advice would be to try to take it. It's the same as, I guess, anywhere else. Like, to understand the niches, all the different market segments, and to take it one segment at a time, because you can't do them all. Which we found we made our mistakes in the past and realized that if we're trying to have a Southeast Asia-wide marketing strategy, just doesn't work, because it's too diverse, and you end up appealing to nobody by trying to appeal to everybody. And when you take on one segment, use the lessons and the resources that you have to build it into the next market. And while I say that, I also want to urge some caution. Like, don't assume that all the learnings you get in one segment are transferable. So when we took the Singapore market, when we were expanding into Indonesia, we realized that everything we knew in Singapore, we had to kind of park aside and say, okay, it's a completely different market, and then try to understand the dynamics of Indonesia. But at the same time, when we did enter Indonesia, we had more resources in the sense of we had a more knowledgeable team, we had more, the product was more mature, we knew the types of companies that would interact better with our product, and then we could go into this new market looking for such companies. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Actually, there are several questions here. Typically in that kind of a situation, you run into the segment is too small, and it's so, it requires such a diverse variation to the point the cost structure is very high. And so how do you kind of overcome these kind of issues when you select which segment to tackle first? Because, the cost structure or the variation, the changes, it will not create a huge problem for your business. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's a really great point. My experience so far has been, it's actually really hard to project the size of your total addressable market. It's actually really, really difficult. And you can guess, but it's really hard. So I guess my take on this is that our approach has always been what is it that we need to do to serve, say, the Singapore market in the mid-market segment well, right? And once we've taken our learnings from that, we then start looking across markets to see which is the next biggest market that has companies that look a lot like who we're serving today. And then we target those companies first. And sometimes we are right, but sometimes we're wrong. So in the Philippines, for example, I think we did that, and we realized, actually, because a lot of these organizations are part of a larger conglomerate, the buying behavior needs to change. We need to then go to these larger conglomerates and then sell down to the individual entities. And that's fine. I mean, at least we have that learning, and then we can make an educated decision on how much do we need to invest in customization for that particular market versus how far can we pull our existing product into similar type organizations. And sometimes it's just a change of go-to-market, which is okay. It just changes our cost of acquisition slightly. But in most of these markets, in-market cost of acquisition tends to be a little bit lower anyway. So we are able to manage the cost from that angle. And then when it comes to product customization, that's where we get a lot more productive and saying, okay, I don't think we can do it because we can't cater this, invest 3 months of engineering work to make it work for these 4 organizations in this country. So we can't do it that way.
Thank you for watching.